வணக்கம். வெல்கம் டு NCERT Biology Reading, Class 11, Chapter 12, Mineral Nutrition. The basic needs of all living organisms are essentially the same. They require macromolecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and water and minerals for their growth and development. This chapter focuses mainly on inorganic plant nutrition, wherein you will study the method to identify elements essential to growth and development of plants and the criteria for establishing the essentiality. You will also study the role of the essential elements, their major deficiency, symptoms, and the mechanism of absorption of these essential elements. The chapter also introduces you briefly to the significance and the mechanisms of biological nitrogen fixation. 12.1 Methods to study the mineral required for plants. In 1860, Julius von Sachs, a prominent German botanist, demonstrated for the first time the plant could be grown to maturity in a defined nutrient solution in complete absence of soil. This technique of growing plants in a nutrient solution is known as hydroponics. Since then, a number of improvised methods have been employed to try and determine the mineral nutrients essential for plants. The essence of all these methods involves the culture of plants in a soil-free, defined mineral solution. These methods require purified water and mineral nutrient salts. Can you explain why this is so essential? After a series of experiments in which the roots of the plant were immersed in nutrient solutions and wherein an element was added, removed, or given in varied concentration, a mineral solution suitable for the plant growth was obtained. By this method, essential elements were identified and their deficiency symptoms discovered. Hydroponics has been successfully employed as a technique for the commercial production of vegetables such as tomato, seedless cucumber, and lettuce. It must be emphasized that the nutrient solutions must be adequately added to obtain the optimum growth. What would happen if solutions were poorly aerated? Diagrammatic views of the hydroponic techniques is given in figure 12.1 and 12.2. 12.2 Essential mineral elements. Most of the minerals present in soil can enter plants through roots. In fact, more than 60 elements of the 105 discovered so far are found in different plants. Some plant species accumulate selenium, some other gold, while some plants growing near nuclear test sites take up radioactive strontium. There are techniques that are able to detect the minerals even at a very low concentration, 10 power minus 8 gram per milliliter. The question is whether all the diverse mineral elements present in a plant, for example gold and selenium as mentioned above, are really necessary for plants. How do we decide what is essential for plants and what is not? 12.2.1 Criteria for essentiality. The criteria for essentiality of an element are given below. The element must be absolutely necessary for supporting normal growth and reproduction. In the absence of the element, the plants do not complete their life cycle or set the seeds. B. The requirement of the element must be specific and not replaceable by another element. In other words, deficiency of any one element cannot be met by supplying some other element. C. The element must be directly involved in the metabolism of the plant. Based upon the above criteria, only a few elements have been found to be absolutely essential for plant growth and metabolism. These elements are further divided into two broad categories based on their quantitative requirements. Macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients are generally present in plant tissue in large amounts in excess of 10 millimole kilogram per dry matter. The macronutrients include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Of these, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are mainly obtained from carbon dioxide and H2O, while the others are absorbed from the soil as mineral nutrition. Micronutrients or trace elements are needed in very small amounts, less than 10 millimole kilogram per of dry matter. These include iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine, and nickel. In addition to the 17 essential elements named above, there are some beneficial elements such as sodium, silicon, cobalt, and selenium. They are required by higher plants. Essential elements can also be grouped into four broad categories on the basis of their diverse function. These categories are: 1. Essential elements as components of biomolecules and hence structural elements of cells. Example: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Number 2. Essential elements that are components of energy related chemical compounds in plants. Example: magnesium in chlorophyll and phosphorus in ATP. Number 3. Essential elements that activate or inhibit enzymes. For example, magnesium 2 plus is an activator for both ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, both of which are critical enzymes in photosynthetic carbon fixation. Z and zinc 2 plus is an activator of alcohol dehydrogenase and molybdenum of nitrogenase during nitrogen metabolism. Can you name a few more elements that fall in this category? For this, you will need to recollect some of the biochemical pathways you have studied earlier. Number 4, some essential elements can alter the osmotic potential of cell. Potassium plays an important role in the opening and closing of stomata. You may recall that role of mineral as solutes in determining the water potential of a cell. 12.2.2 Role of macro and micronutrients. Essential elements perform several functions. They participate in various metabolic processes in plant cells such as permeability of cell membrane, maintenance of osmotic concentration of cell sap, electron transport system, buffering action, enzymatic activity, and act as constituent of macromolecules and coenzymes. Various forms and functions of essential nutrient elements are given below. Nitrogen. This is the essential nutrient element required by plants in the greatest amount. It is absorbed mainly as nitrous NO3 minus, though some are also taken up as NO2 minus or NH4 plus. Nitrogen is required by all parts of plant, particularly the meristematic tissue and the metabolically active cells. Nitrogen is one of the major constituents of proteins, nucleic acids, vitamins, and hormones. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is absorbed by the plants from soil in the form of phosphate ions, either as H2PO4 minus or HPO4 2 minus. Phosphorus is a constituent of cell membranes, certain proteins, all nucleic acids and nucleotides, and is required for all food phosphorylation reactions. Potassium. It is absorbed as potassium ion K plus in plants. This is required in more abundant quantities in the meristematic tissues. Buds, leaves, and root tips. Potassium helps to maintain an anion cation balance in cells and is involved in protein synthesis, opening and closing of stomata, activation of enzymes, and in the maintenance of the turgidity of cells. Calcium. Plant absorbs calcium from the soil in the form of calcium ions Ca2+. Calcium is required by meristematic and differentiating tissues. During cell division, it is used in the synthesis of cell wall, particularly as calcium pectate in the middle lamella. It is also needed during the formation of mitotic spindle. It accumulates in older leaves. It is involved in the normal functioning of the cell membranes. It activates certain enzymes and plays an important role in regulating metabolic activities. Magnesium. It is absorbed by plants in the form of divalent Mg2 plus It activates the enzymes of respiration, photosynthesis, and are involved in the synthesis of DNA and RNA. Magnesium is a constituent of the ring structure of chlorophyll and helps to maintain the ribosome structure. Sulfur, plants obtain sulfur in the form of sulfate SO2 minus SO42 minus. Sulfur is present in two amino acids, cysteine and methionine, and is the main constituent of several coenzymes, vitamins, thiamine, biotin, coenzyme A, and ferredoxin. Iron. Plants obtain iron in the form of ferric ions Fe3+. It is required in larger amounts in comparison to other micronutrients. It is an important constituent of proteins involved in the transfer of electrons like ferredoxin and cytochromes. It is reversibly oxidized from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus during electron transfer. It activates catalase enzyme and is essential for the formation of chlorophyll. Manganese, it is absorbed in the form of manganese ion Mn2 plus. It activates many enzymes involved in photosynthesis, respiration, and nitrogen metabolism. The best defined function of manganese is in the splitting of water to liberate oxygen during photosynthesis. Zinc. Plants obtain zinc as Zn2 plus ions. It activates various enzymes, especially carboxylase. It is also needed in the synthesis of oxygen. Copper. It is absorbed as cupric ion Cu2 plus. It is essential for the overall metabolism in plants like iron. It is associated with certain enzymes involved in redox reactions and is reversibly oxidized from Cu plus to Cu2 plus. Boron. It is absorbed as BO3 3 minus or B4O7 2 minus. Boron is required for uptake and utilization of Ca2 plus. Membrane functioning, pollen germination, cell elongation, cell differentiation, and carbohydrate translocation. Molybdenum, plants obtain in the form of molybdate ion MnO2 2+. It is a component of several enzymes including nitrogenase and nitrate reductase, both of which participate in nitrogen metabolism. Chlorine, it is absorbed in the form of chloride ion Cl- along with Na plus and K plus, helps in determining the solute concentration and the anion cationic balance in cells. It is essential for the water splitting reaction in photosynthesis, a reaction that leads to oxygen evolution. 12.2.3 Deficiency symptoms of essential elements. Whenever the supply of essential element becomes limited, plant growth is retarded. The concentration of the essential element below which plant growth is retarded is termed as critical concentration. The element is said to be deficient when present below the critical concentration. Since each element has one or more specific structural or functional role in plants, in the absence of any particular element, plants show certain morphological changes. These morphological changes are inactive of certain element deficiencies and are called deficiency symptoms. The deficiency symptoms vary from element to element and they disappear when the deficient mineral nutrient is provided to the plant. However, if deprivation continues, it may eventually lead to the death of the plant. The parts of the plants that show the deficiency symptom also depend on the mobility of the element in the plant. For elements that are actively mobilized within the plants and exported to young developing tissues, the deficiency symptoms tend to appear first in older tissues. For example, the deficiency symptoms of nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium are visible first in the senescent leaves. In the older leaves, biomolecules contain these elements are broken down, making these elements available for mobilizing to younger leaves. The deficiency symptoms tend to appear first in the young leaves, young tissues, whenever the elements are relatively immobile and are not transported out of the mature organs. For example, elements like calcium is a part of the structural component of the cell and hence is not as easily released. This aspect of mineral nutrition of plants of a great significance and importance to agriculture and horticulture. The kind of deficiency symptoms shown in plants include chlorosis, necrosis, stunned plant growth, premature fall of leaves and buds, and inhibition of cell division. Chlorosis is the loss of chlorophyll leading to yellowing in leaves. This symptoms is caused by the deficiency of elements sodium, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, ferrous, manganese, zinc, and molybdenum. Likewise, necrosis or death of tissue, particularly leaf tissues, is due to the deficiency of calcium, magnesium, copper, potassium. Lack or low level of sodium, potassium, sulfur, molybdenum causes an inhibition of cell division. Some elements like sodium, sulfur, molybdenum delay flowering if their concentration in plants is low. You can see from the above that the deficiency of any element can cause multiple symptoms and that the same symptoms may be caused by the deficiency of one of several different elements. Hence, to identify the deficient element, one has to study all the symptoms developed in all the various parts of the plant and compare them with the available standard tables. We must also be aware that different plants also respond differently to the deficiency of the same element. 12.2.4 Toxicity of micronutrients. The requirement of micronutrients is always in low amounts, while their moderate decrease causes the deficiency symptoms and a moderate increase causes toxicity. In other words, there is a narrow range of concentration at which the elements are optimum. Any mineral ion concentration in tissues that reduces the dry weight of tissues by about 10% is considered toxic. Such critical concentration vary widely among different micronutrients. The toxicity symptoms are difficult to identify. Toxicity levels for any element also vary for different plants. Many a time, excess of an element may inhibit the uptake of another element. For example, the prominent symptom of manganese toxicity is the appearance of brown spots surrounded by chlorotic veins. It is important to note that manganese competes with iron and magnesium for uptake and with magnesium for binding with enzymes. Manganese also inhibit calcium translocation in shoot apex. Therefore, excess of manganese may in fact induce deficiency of iron, magnesium and calcium. Thus what appears as symptoms of manganese toxicity may actually be the deficiency of symptoms of iron, magnesium and calcium. Can this knowledge be of some importance to a farmer or gardener or even for you in your kitchen garden? 12.3 Mechanism of absorption of elements in next video. Thank you.